2 minutes till broadcast. One minute till broadcast. Seconds till broadcast. Five, four, three, two, one. Begin transmission.
Fighting for freedom every day.
Let me tell you, the response to the show has been absolutely amazing. People can't believe that a young conservative millennial continues to fight for constitutional principles, traditional values, and talks about issues that some are even afraid to talk about. But we do it because we understand the importance of this. And now we're seeing it absolutely blow up all across the nation.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
This is the Voice of Reason. I am so excited. Welcome into a Tuesday, the post-Monday celebration, making each day bigger and better, and, apparently more awesome the more we go along. Hey, welcome into the Voice of Reason. We got a lot to get to today. Day number 1 of the Republican National Convention. Wow. We have to talk about that throughout the show today because you know that the Democrats are probably squirming just a little bit. Hey, Joe Biden, how you doing, buddy?
I want to be clear. I'm not going nuts.
All right. Good to hear. Welcome in, broadcasting live wherever you may be. Although it's kind of sporadic right now and kind of crazy. We're trying to get the live streaming up. It's lagging a little bit on some of the social media sites. But we are live on radio, TV, live streaming on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter, Twitch, LinkedIn, on the website at HooserReason.com. You can check that out as well. Appreciate you hanging out with us today. Big stuff going on. And I want to jump straight to our guest because we have limited time with her. We've had her on the show before. She is awesome. We love her to death. She's a fantastic guest. She is the author of Nothing to Lose, Everything to Gain, Being Black and Conservative in America. I'm noticing a trend. Are you noticing a trend? I'm noticing a trend this year where there is a massive movement of individuals who have formerly maybe voted progressive or voted Democrat or certain minority groups that are starting to realize that the Democrats are kind of having a tight-knit iron grip hold on them, and it's time to break free from that. But she is the author of Nothing to Lose, Everything to Gain, Being Black and Conservative in America. She's also a political commentator on Fox and Friends all the time. You can also visit her online, Kathy Barnett for Congress.com, as she's running for Congress in the 4th Congressional District in the great state of Pennsylvania. It's Kathy Barnett hanging with us here. Kathy, how are you, my friend?
I am doing well. Thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, it is so good to talk to you again. It's been a little bit, and I think that as we get closer to this year's election, I think more people are getting more and more excited. The enthusiasm and energy to vote Republican, to vote Trump, to vote conservative, I think it's building up to something that I don't think we've seen in a really long time. What do you think?
Listen, for so long, especially since COVID, right? Since mid-March to now, Democrats have had control of the microphone. If it's not the squad, it's Nancy Pelosi squeaking about something. If it's not the mainstream media with CNN and the MSNBC and the rest of them, they've had the microphone. They've had the platform. Last week we saw the DNC convention, and it's just gloom and doom. Last night was the first time that America heard from the Republican side of the aisle. It's the first time that America heard in a very long time that this is a land of hope and opportunity. Last week when we were listening to the DNC convention, it was all doom and gloom. All doom and gloom scattered with racism, right? Systemic racism is everywhere and in everything. Last night, we heard from a wide array of backgrounds of people coming forward, talking about the hope, the opportunities, the life in this country. So I think that was a shot of adrenaline for so many Americans.
Do you think the media is going to be able to contain this? Because I read a story last week during the Democrat National Convention that they said Joe Biden's bringing something to America that we haven't seen in the last 4 years, and that's hope and excitement. Yeah, and that's what they're giving. Well, at the same time, you're right. All I heard was negativity last week, that everything's bad, Donald Trump's evil, the country's in ruins, and that they're going to be the saviors here.
Gloom.
Yeah, the
doom
total doom
and
gloom.
gloom. I mean, Michelle Obama and the rest of them all dressed in earth tone colors. Everyone's sad. You know what? We heard more policy conversations in the first hour of the RNC than we heard in all 4 days of the DNC convention. All we heard was doom, gloom, racism, doom, gloom, racism. We hate Trump. Doom, gloom, racism. We hate Trump. That's all we heard. And then yesterday, it was all about, again, the hope, the excitement of it all. I mean, it was very exhilarating. Let me tell you something. The only thing, I think it became clear, hopefully, I'm very hopeful, that it became very clear last night that the only thing Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and the Democratic Party, including the media, has to offer the American people is oppression. Yeah. That is all they're offering us. They're offering us $4 trillion in taxes, $46 trillion if Kamala gets her way. That's what she's asking for, $46 trillion over the next 10 years if she gets her way. Yeah. They're offering us more rioting, more looting, because it has shown to be a very effective tool in allowing them to incorporate some of the most heinous policies. The first one right out the gate with Joe Biden, if it's not defunding the police completely, it is going to be abolishing the suburbs. These people are not playing. It is all out there in black and white. Writing on his website, you can see where he talks about what they term affirmatively furthering fair housing, but really it's code for abolishing the suburbs.
It really is. We're talking with Kathy Barnett, author of the book Nothing to Lose, Everything to Gain, Being Black and Conservative in America. Let's talk about Kamala Harris for just a second. I noticed the polling that when she was nominated, which of course the Democrats love to just play the identity politics, checking the boxes. She's a woman. She's of minority descent. First off, they try and say she's African-American. I don't see that because she's Jamaican and Indian, which is really funny.
That bubble got burst real quick, yeah.
It did, but the polling dropped for minority voters, for Hispanic and black voters in America. Joe Biden's ratings went down by about 10%. Donald Trump ended up seeing an increase with minority votes, which is probably the opposite of what Democrats were expecting in that time, wasn't it?
Well, I don't really know what they're expecting. I mean, I can joke about it and be coy about it, but let's think about this for a moment. Kamala Harris, when she dropped out of the presidential running, her polling with the African-American community had dropped to 1%.
Yeah.
If you're trying to win over the black vote, do you go get someone whose polling just a few months ago was at 1% with that demographics that you're trying to pull in? No, there is something, I believe, so much more sinister. I mean, perhaps, it is as simple as they thought any dark pigmented person would do. So let's just pluck Kamala out of the crowd, right? She's not really African American as we in this country would think of a black American. Mm-hmm. But hey, but she got the color thing going, right? And because the only thing of value about me as a black person, is the color of my skin to the Democratic Party. Perhaps they thought, anyone would do with dark pigmentation, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's even more sinister than that. These people have a 100-year plan that they just go to a file cabinet, pull out when they see the atmosphere is changing. It's astounding to me how they have a plan for almost every calamity within a few days of it occurring. These people are very well thought out. They want power. They want control. And by any means necessary, if you have to lose your business because they're closing down the economy and refuse to open it up as they are here on the East Coast, and you have to lose your business for the greater cause of them, for the greater good of them gaining power, then so be it. If we have to stuff all of the COVID-19 positive patients into nursing homes so that we can get rid of the more aged in our society, which is exactly what they did in my county, in Montgomery County, 93% of the deaths that took place as a result of COVID happened in long-term care and nursing home facility. That's 93%. And that was right after our Secretary of Health mandated that COVID-19 positive patients be placed into those particular facilities. It's like putting the fox in the hen house and thinking nothing bad is going to happen. These people have a plan, and we got to stop thinking that it's just by coincidence that these things are happening. I believe they understand exactly what it is that they're doing.
You're right. I think they do have a plan. They know exactly where they want to go, and I think the American people are rejecting it, which is why we're seeing such excitement for Donald Trump. The fact that we see states like Minnesota in play for Donald Trump right now, which is supposed to be a safe haven for Democrats, I think that makes them a little worried. The polls, I don't believe when they say that Joe Biden's up 10, 11 points in the nation. We saw that in 2016 with Hillary Clinton as well, with a much stronger candidate than what we've seen with Joe Biden. And the minority thing with Kamala Harris, I just don't think is going to win. What we saw last night at the Republican National Convention, I think was probably the most hope. I'm hoping for so many minority voters across the country right now. When we saw Tim Scott talk about going from the cotton fields to Congress, when Nikki Haley talked about being Indian heritage and being the only brown girl in a black and white community, when we saw Vernon Jones, the Democrat state legislator out of Georgia, talking about going from the tobacco fields to the general halls of the legislature in Georgia. That's so many hopeful messages that the Democrats don't want you to hear, but yet it's happening all over the country.
We're happy. Listen, I add one more to it because I say it all the time. I'm going from a pig farm to Congress. I grew up on a pig farm in southern Alabama. I grew up below the bottom rung of the economic ladder. And I grew up in a home with no running water, no insulation, an outhouse in the back and a well on the side. Yet, because of the opportunities in this nation, because I felt hopeful about the opportunities and what I could do in this nation, I was able to crawl my way from up under a rock. And what you saw last night was so many black people so excited, who are happy, who are excited about the opportunities that this country has afforded to them. We don't have amnesia from where we came from and the struggle and the discipline and the focus and the hard work that we had to do in order to get where we are today. But guess what? That doesn't just apply to black people. It applies to any and every single person who find themselves under a rock or who have a dream of doing something different in life, something better in life. This nation, if you're willing to discipline yourself, if you're willing to prepare yourself so that when that door of opportunity opens, you're able to walk right through it, this is the nation you want to be in. That is the reason why over 1 million people become legalized residents every single year in this country. You don't have 1 million people trying to break down the doors of China unless they're trying to get out of North Korea. You don't have 1 million people trying to sneak into Iran. It is here in America. We are still the city that sit up on a hill with the light shining as a beacon of hope to so many people who find themselves desperate and without a place. This is the country you want to be in. But again, the only thing the Democrat Party is offering is oppression.
Amen to that. I couldn't have said it better. I love it. We got just about a minute left before we have to let you go. I know you're busy, but how's the campaign going so far going into the general election? Are you feeling good?
I'm feeling so good. Oh, my goodness. The energy, the enthusiasm is palpable. The number of Democrats, white and black, who are coming out and working on my campaign is amazing. I mean, it is just amazing. No one has ever seen that in this particular area. Please go to KathyBarnettForCongress.com and donate. KathyBarnettForCongress.com. I will be a voice for this nation.
It's amazing. KathyBarnett.com, KathyBarnettForCongress.com, and you can also find her on Facebook as well at Kathy Barnett Congress, PA04 for Pennsylvania's 4th Congressional District. Kathy, we love having you on the show. You're so amazing. We love you to death. We got to get you back on again before the elections again.
Yes. Thank you, Andy.
Hey,
bye.
Always a pleasure right there. That's Kathy Barnett, also author of the book Nothing to Lose, Everything to Gain, Being Black and Conservative in America. I am sensing a rise in minority communities like we've never seen before. Maybe, just maybe, if you remember our guest Gerard Lamiro, he's come on and said that he's predicting 40 to 45% of the black vote going to Trump this year and voting Republican. That very well could be. If it does, watch the demise of the Democrat Party. All right, let's continue on with this show. Sal, we have had some crazy stuff going on. Still, I don't think streaming on Facebook Live for some reason. Not sure why. We'll check that out during the break. This is The Voice of Reason on a Tuesday. Stay here.
With Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser with The Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left seems to find new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back, and we can help with that. Visit our website at HooserReason.com. There's some really great stuff for you. You can read the latest blog discussing topical issues and current events. Let us know your thoughts by filling out our monthly survey. Keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Listen to the podcast of your favorite guest or show, and check out our latest Voice of Reason product infomercials. Plus, you can find upcoming show schedules and guest lineups to plan your radio listening appropriately. And finally, make sure to become a Hoosier-holic by subscribing to the free newsletter. Stay up to date on the latest news of the show, fun facts of the month, and learn new ways to defend and preserve this great republic. It's all there at HooserReason.com. Again, HooserReason.com. Go check it out. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. Want to reach out to the show? A big part of the program is you, and we want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts of the show, maybe a guest we've had on the program, or my favorite, when you disagree with something that I talk about. You can email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or send us a message through our website at HooserReason.com. The show's not about me, it's about you. So be heard and be your own voice of reason. Again, email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or find our contact information at HooserReason.com. Miss part of the show? Don't worry about it. There's plenty of ways to catch the program, and here's how you can do it. First, make sure to tune in every day right here on your favorite radio station. We're here for you. Second, subscribe to the podcast on any of your favorite sites. YouTube and iTunes, Spotify and Google Play, TuneIn, Podbean, and more. Have the show automatically downloaded to your favorite device. Last, visit our website at HooserReason.com. You can listen to the podcast, catch our special features, and more. It's the Voice of Reason on radio, TV, and online, helping you defend and preserve this great republic. Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. The show's growing all the time, and as we talk about the big issues of the day, one of the big parts of the program is you. And I want you to join us on the program. Whether you agree, disagree, or just want to relieve some of that political frustration, we're here for you. No matter where you may be watching, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, go ahead and leave a comment on the live stream. Chat with other listeners and let me know your thoughts on the topic. Also chat with us on the Podbean chat room. Just go to our live stream of the show at podbean.com and chat with other listeners. You can also call into the program. Just download the Podbean app onto your smartphone, join the live stream, and call in through the app. This is your show, and we want to hear your thoughts. So go ahead and join us here on the Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with the Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hoosier-holic by going to HooserReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe through any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hooser Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HooserReason.com. For a schedule of upcoming guests on the program, daily show topics, or to reach out to the Hooser Media Network, visit us on the website at HooserReason.com. Or for general inquiries, to be a guest on the program, or to have Andy a guest on your program, email us at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Keep fighting for freedom with us every day right here on the Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network. Now, back to the show.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Welcome into the Voice of Reason. Thanks for hanging out today on a Tuesday. It's been a nuts day. Bear with me here, shall we? We're trying to... So here's the funny part. By the way, welcome into the show, as we do here on the Voice of Reason. Each and every day, radio, TV, live streaming. Although the Facebook Live is not working for some reason. I don't know why, but it is working on YouTube. It is working on Twitter. It is working on Twitch. Also on the website at HooserReason.com. Just not on Facebook, where we get a lot of viewers. So if you usually try to there, then hopefully... you can go to the other websites and be able to check us out. It's been a wild day, and our guest, Kathy Barnett, I love her to death. Love her to death. She is fantastic. Great candidate. I really hope to see her in Congress. And can you imagine, just for a second, this firebrand excitement, the intensity that she brings and so many others bring? We've talked to so many candidates over the last really 6 months during the podcast and the radio show where we've heard the excitement, the energy. And this is what Donald Trump has brought out. There has been a story of, and this is actually interesting, from MSN.com. Win or lose, Trump is stamping his imprint on GOP over Reagan's. No matter what happens, whether you like Trump or dislike Trump, Trump has done something to the Republican Party that I don't think we've seen in a very long time. If you remember all the way back when, during Reagan's time, the Republican Party, the establishment, shunned him. He didn't get the nomination in the mid-'70s. He didn't get it till the 80s, and they still didn't like that, and they finally begrudgingly supported him in the 84 election because he had so much popular support among the majority of voters across the nation. Donald Trump has been the same way. The establishment Republicans have despised Donald Trump from the very beginning, from George Bush. The Bushes, no, we can't have Donald Trump. He's the most horrible candidate you could possibly have. That's kind of the establishment Republican right now, isn't it? And now that he's done 4 years... you still have the outsiders saying, we hate Donald Trump. But the majority of the Republicans, overwhelmingly, by the way, have embraced him. So what have they done? The Republican Party has embraced him just as much, to where you see him speaking every night of the Republican National Convention. Someone from his family or from the administration, Vice President Mike Pence, Mike Pompeo, Secretary of State, somebody from his administration or somebody with the last name of Trump is speaking every single night of the Republican convention, because now they have realized that he has done something that very few candidates within the party or presidents altogether have actually done. And the last time this was done was really about the time of Ronald Reagan, but I don't even think it was this much. I don't think it was this big of a movement. I think Donald Trump has created something. He's created more division for sure, because you either love him or you hate him. You either love what he's doing or you despise everything about him. But at the same time, you know him. He has imprinted himself onto the Republican Party for sure. The fact the Republican Party didn't even pass a platform this year, which we have a platform. We don't need to pass another platform. We already know our platform. We like limited government, less taxes, less regulation, encouraging business to grow, individual liberties, religious liberties. That's what we like. Second Amendment issues. Those are the things we like. We already know that. But they didn't pass it as a platform of a rubber stamp. This is the Republican Party platform for the year. Instead, they just said, you know what, Donald Trump, you have the platform of what you're running on. We're just going to roll with yours. We're just going to do what you're doing, baby, because you got it going on. Right? And I think that that's something that we should be proud of. Donald Trump has imprinted the Republican Party, good or bad, in a way that nobody else has. When we come back, I want to, because we're almost ready for a break, when we come back, I want to touch on the Republican National Convention. I want to focus on this minority vote, though, because there's an excitement going on that's brewing underneath the media, at least. There's an energy that's going on that we've never seen before. We've had guests on saying we're going to get massive turnout for the minority vote for Donald Trump. Is it true? And with the gaffes that Joe Biden has said, with the lack of support that Kamala Harris has had, are we seeing a shift and a tide go to the Republican side, and Republicans are jumping on the opportunity, and I think they're winning more so than ever before because of it, and I think that showed true last night during the RNC. So we'll talk about some of that. We have some of the audio clips we'll play as well. Get your thoughts on this all over the place as well. You can email me, HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. You can watch all the live streaming. We got lots to get to here on The Voice of Reason on a Tuesday. Stay here.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser. While you listen to the delightful broadcast of The Voice of Reason, don't forget to check us out and follow us on all of our social media sites. Whether you're using Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Minds.com, or Instagram, we're there for you. Find us at Hooser Reason on any of your social media platforms. You'll see special commentary, links to the articles and news that we use on the show, and videos of the broadcast. Plus, you can directly send us a message on social media during the show to let me know your thoughts. Many already do, and it's a great chat room for all of our great listeners. And you can always sign up for the Patreon site to get exclusive content, maybe hear show products before we air them on the radio, and a lot more. And when you support us on Patreon, you also help the show be able to fight for conservative values each and every day. So it's a win-win. Just find us at Hooser Reason on all of your social media platforms, or you can find a link to all of our social media sites on our website at HooserReason.com. We know you're on social media already, so bring some reason into your day. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do.
The Hooser Media Network is way more than just the voice of reason. It's your source to find numerous different online talk shows, podcasts, TV, and radio programs, all in one simple online location for you. From political talk to health talk to whatever you may be interested in, we're here for you. And I tell you, it's growing every day. Catch Tracy Maxfield with her podcast, Engage, Educate, and Empower, discussing mental health issues in children and teenagers. From bullying, teenage suicide, addiction, ADHD, and so much more, learn from Tracy and her guests about symptoms, signs, and ways to talk to your children, plus so much more. Having battled depression, being the author of the internationally acclaimed book, Escaping the Rabbit Hole, and being a retired nurse, Tracy is kind of the go-to on the subject. Make sure to find her on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, along with her website at tracymaxfield.com. Also, make sure to tune into the weekly podcast Jump, Pivot, and Roll with Shannon Stiles and Rachel Murphy. Taking that next big leap of faith is hard. Trying to write a book, maybe struggling with a relationship, looking to take that next big career step. What's stopping you? There's a lot of big questions there, and they're questions that Rachel and Shannon want to help with you each and every week. It's Jump, Pivot, and Roll on any of your favorite podcasting sites and on Facebook and YouTube. All of these shows and a heck of a lot more can be found on the Hooser Media Network Facebook and YouTube channels. Make sure to follow and subscribe to check them out today. Follow all the shows, and if you have any inquiries, check us out at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with The Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hooserholic by going to HooserReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe through any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hooser Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HooserReason.com. Oh, hi. You know, conservative messages now are more important than ever before. Election season, state legislative issues, and a rise in the radical left socialist progressive agenda. What we really need now more than ever before is knowledge and wisdom. That's where we come in. Hi, I'm Andy Hooser with The Voice of Reason, and I'm your voice for reasonable talk, conservative commentary, great guests and entertainment on radio, TV, and the internet. It's time to bring some common sense back into the discussion. National issues, state legislative issues, no matter where you may be, upcoming elections, and a heck of a lot more, we can bring traditional values, constitutional principles, and local activism back. And here's what you can do. First, follow us on all the social media platforms at Hooser Reason. You can watch the live stream of the show, leave comments, and even call into the program. Second, make sure to subscribe to the podcast on all of your audio devices, from iTunes and Spotify to Google Play and TuneIn. Make sure to subscribe to have every episode automatically downloaded so you don't miss a single episode. Third, make sure to visit our website at HooserReason.com. You can catch our monthly blog talking about deeper discussions, see who's coming on the program, plus you can sign up for our free monthly newsletter to catch the latest on the show, monthly topics, upcoming interviews, and more. It's time to be that local activist again. That's what the Voice of Reason's all about. Why? Because that's kind of the reasonable thing to do. And it's time for you to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. The show's growing all the time, and as we talk about the big issues of the day, one of the big parts of the program is you. And I want you to join us on the program. Whether you agree, disagree, or just want to relieve some of that political frustration, we're here for you. No matter where you may be watching, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, go ahead and leave a comment on the live stream. Chat with other listeners and let me know your thoughts on the topic. Also chat with us on the Podbean chat room. Just go to our live stream of the show at podbean.com and chat with other listeners. You can also call into the program. Just download the Podbean app onto your smartphone, join the live stream, and call in through the app. This is your show, and we want to hear your thoughts. So go ahead and join us here on the Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network.
When Reason Meets Radio. You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
We are having way too much fun today. Welcome back into the Voice of Reason. So a bit of a rocky start trying to get everything up and going. Not sure why the Facebook Live's not streaming today. It's still not, so I don't know why. I apologize for that one. But if you're on live streaming on Podbean Live or the YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, LinkedIn, on the website at HooserReason.com, we're all still there, plus radio and TV as well. So if you're still on those and you're good, just one platform doesn't seem to work in. Plus, we had a bit of a change with guests as well, which Kathy Barnett's awesome. We love her to death. We're going to get her back on probably the next month or so again to talk about the upcoming election, as she is running for Pennsylvania's 4th congressional district and trying to run for that seat as a conservative Republican. And a crazy Joe Biden not liking that very much. Joe, how you feeling today?
I want to be clear. I'm not going nuts.
All right. Are you finally mad at me for calling you out?
Come on, man. Get a life.
Yes. So I have to laugh. I don't want to really focus on the media because the media is stupid. We already know the media is dumb. And the way they interpret and the way they report things is absolutely absurd. But just for a second, can we poke fun for just a minute? There was a headline at Deadline.com. Joe Biden tops Donald Trump in TV viewership for the first night of convention. Now, there are so many ways we could go with this. Joe Biden tops Donald Trump in TV viewership. Here's the story. The first night of the Republican National Convention drew 15.8 million viewers across 6 networks, a significant fallout from the 18.7 million who turned out to the Democrats' National Convention debut evening as well. 15 million versus the 18 million.
Come on, man. Get a life.
Yeah. I have a feeling that's going to be our new favorite audio clip. So, first off, can we say something for just a moment? They say that Joe Biden topped Donald Trump. Joe Biden did not speak the first night of the Democrat National Convention, for one. Number two, Donald Trump did, but he wasn't scheduled to do so until last minute, right? Donald Trump wasn't scheduled to speak until the third night, till the last night on Thursday night, fourth night, whatever. He wasn't scheduled. But they decided, because he's getting so much momentum right now, that he was going to do a little speech, just a little message to the Republican National Convention each night of the convention, along with the family members, where last night Donald Trump Jr. spoke. Today, Melania Trump speaks, and Laura Trump speaks, and Eric Trump speaks. Tomorrow, I believe, I don't remember who speaks there. And then Thursday night will be Donald Trump himself again for a more elongated speech. But he wasn't anticipated to speak. Joe Biden didn't even speak the first night, but Joe Biden tops Donald Trump in TV viewership for the first night of the convention. So what? Number two, what I find ironic is that it was a 3 million vote or viewership difference. The same amount of people that actually the difference in who actually turned out to vote with the popular vote in 2016, meaning that there may have been higher viewership, but they were probably all congregated in one area, whereas the 15 million for Donald Trump was sporadic all over the place, which means even if the election were held by that, we probably still would have won based on electoral votes based on geography of the different viewerships across the nation. So you can look at it that way and say,
you are fake news.
Yeah, sorry, media. I don't buy it, but that's just your way to try and demonize the Republican National Convention. Now, last week we saw a story, and I read it on the show here, about the Democrats, or the media saying that Democrats had a new sign of hope, a new sign of unity and hope and getting along and how everything's going to be great and hunky-dory. That was the message that they tried to portray out of the Democrat National Convention. And we ripped it because obviously that wasn't true, with them ripping Donald Trump the entire time, how bad the nation is right now, how terrible things are, how the virus is spreading out there, how people are burning down buildings and cities, which they endorse, by the way, but how bad it actually is, how bad the economy is doing right now, how bad inner cities are doing right now. I mean, it was just everything about how terrible the nation was. And there's an opportunity here that the Republicans, I think, are utilizing. See, this is the political analyst coming out in me because I love the analytical side of this on the presentation on how to reach people the proper way, which is why I enjoy radio. Because we try to reach you in an entertaining way, but yet do it in an educational fashion to where maybe something sticks in that brain a little bit. And if someone doesn't agree or like it, then maybe something will mull around. It's the seed being planted to where they can mull it over for a while and be like, oh, yeah, he's kind of right. Even though they may hate my guts. It's okay. It's all right. I have a lot of haters. You know that you've done something productive when a lot of people hate you. But with the negativity that ran from the Democrat National Convention, what could Republicans do? Well, what did Ronald Reagan do back in 1984 when he ran for re-election? He ran a campaign that was completely positive. Look at what we've done. Look at where we are. Do you want to continue this on? The American dream, the white picket fence with the barbecue in the back with the friends and the family, the nice job that you have with being able to live luxuriously and have money in the bank because the economy's going stable. Regulations are down so you can do your own thing. That's what Ronald Reagan ran on in his 1984 election. And it was beautiful. And how many states did he win again? Oh, yeah, that's right. Like what, 48, 49? Yeah. Ronald Reagan dominated that. And I predicted the same thing for Donald Trump if he plays his cards right. Now we have a little bit different scenario. We have an economy that was doing very, very well, and then it plummeted because of the virus. Not his fault because they told him to shut it down, and then it's his fault when he shut it down. Doesn't make any sense to me, but whatever. We have a global pandemic right now. We have streets that are burning right now where the Democrats are blaming Donald Trump. That's Trump's America, right? That's Trump's America. Because people are burning down buildings and blowing up cars and attacking people in the middle of the street. That's Trump's America. Now, they're the ones instigating it. They're the ones that create it. And the people that aren't crazy radicals, the fringe 1-2%, everybody else is looking at that and saying, wow, these people are nuts. They're nuts. And just like we heard with Kathy Barnett earlier in the program, when we talk about race relations, how do you think race relations are in the country compared to other times in America? Right now, we see excitement, we see energy, and we see opportunity for the Republican Party that we haven't seen in a very long time. With Joe Biden saying ridiculous, stupid gaffes.
What you all know, but most people don't know, unlike the African-American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community.
In Delaware, the largest growth in population is Indian Americans moving from India. You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Yeah, I do. I know a lot of weed smokers. You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
So with a racist like Joe Biden, the Democrats were desperate. Oh my gosh, look at that. We're losing the minority vote because he's saying some really, really dumb things. We're throwing him as just kind of a throw-in candidate right now. We need someone to actually boost that up a little bit. Who could we possibly find? And the Democrats swore that they would have a woman and a minority woman in order to win over the woman vote because Donald Trump's a sexist. He's not, but that's what they say. So if they can capitalize on that, all the power to him. And he's a racist. So if they can capitalize on a minority, then that's going to be awesome. So what do? and their lack of brains that they choose someone who had a 1 to 3% approval rating running for president already. Not very popular with minority crowds, not very popular with Democrats in general, in order for them to hope to win over the minority crowd, the woman crowd, and the progressive crowd all at the same time. And it didn't work. And now we're seeing the minority votes, the black and Hispanic vote, dropping 10% for Joe Biden and gaining over on Donald Trump's side. And while Joe Biden's saying ridiculously stupid things like that, the Republicans have an opportunity to win over the minority vote, which we need to, because we need to reach out into the other communities. We need to show them what conservatism is. And just like Donald Trump had said in the last election, what have you got to lose? You're in the inner city. You get 80% of the funding for social programs. You get 80% of the funding for education. You get all the funding and all the social, all the programs, everything goes to the inner cities to try and help out, and yet you're still stuck there. The food stamps, the unemployment, all these things go towards the less fortunate, and they remain in those positions, unfortunately, and it breaks our heart. It's terrible. So, Donald Trump, what have you got to lose? Vote Republican. And you can see it with the other than the radical people on the other side of the aisle, you can see them actually realize, oh, hey, he's done reforms in prison reform and justice reform. He's done reforms in the inner cities. He's gotten the unemployment rate for minority groups and women to the lowest it's ever been before in the history of this nation. He's done so many great things. Now we can capitalize on it with an election. And what did they do in night number one? Boom, baby. They hit one after another right off the bat. Tim Scott from South Carolina, the first black congressman and senator out of the South, especially as a Republican, where he talked about the opportunity for this nation, the greatness of this nation, and moving from being on the cotton farm into Congress, and how hard of a family, how hard of a childhood he had with his family growing up, and what opportunities that he has now. They had Nikki Haley, the former U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, talking about being Indian and having family from India and being able to go from the only brown girl in a black and white community into where she is today, and the opportunity as a minority there. Then we had Vernon Jones. Has anybody had heard about Vernon Jones before? Show of hands. He's on a few other talk shows. He goes on Joe Pags a lot. He goes on some other talk shows talking, but he is a Democrat, a state congressman or a state representative out of the state of Georgia, a Democrat, a black man, and is in 110% full support of Donald Trump, and says that the Democrat Party has left him, which is why he stays a Democrat, but I think he's very smart in doing so. Where he doesn't want the same old Democrats, just vote for me, get behind me, or else you're just, you're like Joe Biden, you ain't black. He's calling it out. And he spoke at the Republican National Convention. So you know what? Democrats could have had John Kasich and all these other rhino Republicans speak all they want to and say, look at that, we're gaining Republican support. We brought on a Democrat and said, look at this, a minority Democrat that's voting for Trump. And did you hear his speech? It was unbelievable. We have some of the clips and we'll play it when we come back after the break because we got to take a break here, but it was unbelievable. The excitement, the energy, the passion that minority voters have right now. And then with Kathy Barnett, the guest we just had on earlier today, the excitement, the energy, the passion that's coming out right now in order for people to show up to the polls and vote for Donald Trump and vote Republican and really make some true changes. I think it's going to be a red wave of flooding this entire nation, something like we've never seen before. We'll do that when we come back here on The Voice of Reason on a Tuesday. Stay here.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser. While you listen to the delightful broadcast of The Voice of Reason, don't forget to check us out and follow us on all of our social media sites. Whether you're using Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Minds.com, or Instagram, we're there for you. Find us at Hooser Reason on any of your social media platforms. You'll see special commentary, links to the articles and news that we use on the show, and videos of the broadcast. Plus, you can directly send us a message on social media during the show to let me know your thoughts. Many already do, and it's a great chat room for all of our great listeners. And you can always sign up for the Patreon site to get exclusive content, maybe hear show products before we air them on the radio, and a lot more. And when you support us on Patreon, you also help the show be able to fight for conservative values each and every day. So it's a win-win. Just find us at Hooser Reason on all of your social media platforms, or you can find a link to all of our social media sites on our website at HooserReason.com. We know you're on social media already, so bring some reason into your day. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. Miss part of the show? Don't worry about it. There's plenty of ways to catch the program, and here's how you can do it. First, make sure to tune in every day right here on your favorite radio station. We're here for you. Second, subscribe to the podcast on any of your favorite sites. YouTube and iTunes, Spotify and Google Play, TuneIn, Podbean, and more. Have the show automatically downloaded to your favorite device. Last, visit our website at HooserReason.com. You can listen to the podcast, catch our special features, and more. It's the Voice of Reason on radio, TV, and online, helping you defend and preserve this great republic. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. Want to reach out to the show? A big part of the program is you, and we want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts of the show, maybe a guest we've had on the program, or my favorite, when you disagree with something that I talk about. You can email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or send us a message through our website at HooserReason.com. The show's not about me, it's about you. So be heard and be your own voice of reason. Again, email me at Hooser@gmail.com or find our contact information at HooserReason.com.
Oh, hi. You know, conservative messages now are more important than ever before. Election season, state legislative issues, and a rise in the radical left socialist progressive agenda. What we really need now more than ever before is knowledge and wisdom. That's where we come in. Hi, I'm Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason, and I'm your voice for reasonable talk, conservative commentary, great guests and entertainment on radio, TV, and the internet. It's time to bring some common sense back into the discussion. National issues, state legislative issues, no matter where you may be, upcoming elections, and a heck of a lot more, we can bring traditional values, constitutional principles, and local activism back. And here's what you can do. First, follow us on all the social media platforms at Hooser Reason. You can watch the live stream of the show, leave comments, and even call into the program. Second, make sure to subscribe to the podcast on all of your audio devices, from iTunes and Spotify to Google Play and TuneIn. Make sure to subscribe to have every episode automatically downloaded so you don't miss a single episode. Third, make sure to visit our website at HooserReason.com. You can catch our monthly blog talking about deeper discussions, see who's coming on the program, plus you can sign up for our free monthly newsletter to catch the latest on the show, monthly topics, upcoming interviews, and more. It's time to be that local activist again. That's what the Voice of Reason's all about. Why? Because that's kind of the reasonable thing to do. And it's time for you to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with the Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hooserholic by going to HooserReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe through any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hooser Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HooserReason.com. Hey, I hope you're enjoying the program today. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on any of your favorite podcasting sites and have the show automatically downloaded to your phone or computer every single day. Just find us on any podcasting site or go to HooserReason.podbean.com. And be sure to check out our Patreon site, become the ultimate Hooserholic, and help us fight for conservative values every day. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. Now back to the national broadcast of the Voice of Reason.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
I don't know if you heard or not, but according to the San Francisco CBS local channel there, more than half of all storefronts in the city of San Francisco are no longer in business due to COVID-19. Not just like shut down because of the COVID and ready to open back up. They literally closed doors. According to the latest survey showing 46% of storefronts and businesses in San Francisco that were open at the beginning of the pandemic are still operating. 46%, meaning that means 1,200 stores are still open while about 1,300 stores have closed doors. You want to know Democrat policies, that's what you get. When Joe Biden comes out and says, I would shut down the entire country. because of COVID-19. That's how you do it. Now, probably because they forgot to download the poop app and they were stepping in it all over the place. That's a joke. Come on, man. Oh, wait, sorry.
Come on, man.
There it is. Yeah, so 46% of business storefronts within San Francisco are still open. Over half of them have actually closed in the city. That right there is the sign of what a Democrat economy would look like. And then you know what they would say? They would come back and they'd say, like Joe Biden would be like, oh, well, they can't come back. Remember Barack Obama? Those manufacturing jobs won't come back. Those businesses won't come back. It's just over. You have to adapt and just evolve and just move on. You're not going to bring them back. And what did Donald Trump do? Oh, yeah. Donald Trump brought him back in full swing to where we had the greatest economy that we've ever seen until we had the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, according to Joe Biden, again, we would just shut them down and just see if we could close nearly half the businesses in the country if Joe Biden had his way. But the optimism that we heard at the Republican National Convention last night, I want to play a couple clips for you because I really want to stay on this minority vote thing for just a second because conservatives, I don't know whether we just don't reach out to them, we don't try to reach out, whether we just don't do a good job reaching out, whether we don't do a good job laying out our platform, or what the reasoning is on why minority votes predominantly go towards the other side, or whether it's just because they hear so much other garbage out there. Donald Trump is a racist. Donald Trump said all Hispanics are criminals. Which is not true in any way, shape, or form. None of those things are true, but that's what they portray. So maybe that's just what they hear and they just go along with it. But the optimism, the energy, the passion that's coming out of the Republicans right now, especially Republican minorities to get minority votes out there, I think is bigger and better than we've ever seen before. State Representative Vernon Jones out of the state of Georgia spoke yesterday, a Democrat, and this is what he had to say.
As you can see, I'm a man of color, and I'm a lifelong Democrat, too. You may be wondering, why is a lifelong Democrat speaking at the Republican National Convention? And that's a fair question, and here's your answer. The Democratic Party does not want black people to leave their mental plantation. We've been forced to be there for decades and generations. But I have news for Joe Biden. We are free. We are free people with free minds. And I'm part of a large and growing segment of the black community who are independent thinkers, and we believe that Donald Trump is the president that America needs to lead us forward.
I don't know if you realize or not, but Republicans are playing this absolutely beautifully. From the analytical to the strategic side of this, we're playing it absolutely beautiful. The Democrats are all about hate and anger right now. We hate Donald Trump. We hate the country right now. We hate everything about it, want to tear up the Constitution, want to riot and protest in the streets. Republicans are playing it as, look at how great this country is. Look at the opportunity we have here. Look at what we've been able to do under a Donald Trump administration, which is why they went all board with Donald Trump rather than in their own Republican platform. They talk about minority vote, trying to win over the women, trying to win over the blacks, trying to win over Hispanics, trying to win over Indians, trying to win over whoever with Kamala Harris because Joe Biden's a goofball and he's going to say really dumb things. So therefore, Republicans turn around and look at how many. Now, of course, they call them Uncle Toms. How dare you? Remember, you ain't black if you vote for Trump. You ain't black if you vote Republican. You're an Uncle Tom. That's what they say every single time, but it doesn't matter because we're going to come out with so many and say, look at this. There's an opportunity here to win over a whole new group of people. There's an opportunity here for Republicans to win over a whole new widened umbrella without compromising our values, but just letting our values expand to people who have never heard them before. And I think that's what needs to be preached here.
This is no time for sleeping in the basement. Joe Biden has had 47 years to produce results, but he's been all talk and no action.
Yeah. 47 years to try and fix race relations. What have you done? Absolutely nothing. In fact, you've made it easier to throw minorities in prison for stupid things like marijuana possession and give them really extended sessions. So you know what? I guess that's the Democrats today. Republicans have an opportunity. Are you going to utilize it?
That's right. Donald Trump did that.
I love it. Podcast going up a little bit. Appreciate you hanging out with us today. We got a laundry list of guests going on the rest of the week. Make sure to not miss it on the live streaming, radio, TV, all over the place. Be your own voice of reason. This is the Voice of Reason. Until then, everybody have a great Tuesday evening. Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left seems to find new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back, and we can help with that. Visit our website at HooserReason.com. There's some really great stuff for you. You can read the latest blog discussing topical issues and current events. Let us know your thoughts by filling out our monthly survey. Keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Listen to the podcast of your favorite guest or show, and check out our latest Voice of Reason product infomercials. Plus, you can find upcoming show schedules and guest lineups to plan your radio listening appropriately. And finally, make sure to become a Hoosier-holic by subscribing to the free newsletter. Stay up to date on the latest news of the show, fun facts of the month, and learn new ways to defend and preserve this great republic.